I was born on October 3rd, 1947 in Brooklyn to Italian-American parents Carmela and Salvatore DeLuca. At the age of 10, my family decided to move to Amsterdam, New York, where my family became good friends with a doctor named Peter Buck. I was so inspired by him that I announced to the world that I wanted to be a doctor just like him. In my teenage years, my family decided to move yet again to Bridgeport, Connecticut, where I attended and graduated from university in 1965. To pursue my dream of becoming a doctor, my next step was med school, but my family didn't have any money to help. Soon after, we returned to New York and held a barbecue party to celebrate. There, I asked Peter if he could lend me some money to cover the tuition fee. Though he was willing to help, he had other plans. He invested $1,000 into starting up a restaurant business with me and advised me to earn the money myself. The idea for Subway was Peter's, one that was based on an Italian sandwich shop in Maine called Amato's, which he frequented as a child. I took that idea and decided to open a sandwich shop that provided healthy food at an affordable rate. But the catch was, it was all made in front of the customer's eyes. And so the first shop started in August of 1965 with the name Pete's Submarine. But as I started promoting it over the radio, I realized people mistook the name for Pizza Marine. So we changed the name to Pete's Subway, which was soon shortened to Subway. The first shop opened at a mediocre, crummy location in the city of Bridgeport, Connecticut, which only a few people could see. Initially, I knew nothing about running a sandwich shop, and the entire first year was purely on a trial and error status for me. Things weren't going as expected. Sales didn't pick up, but Peter and I refused to back down.
This is my fight. Everyone's got one.
Instead, we decided to open the first Subway franchise in Wallingford, about 30 miles from Bridgeport. Unfortunately, our second shop wasn't much of a success either. I thought the franchise would somehow create the image of success, but alas, it didn't work. After a bit of studying the market, I truly believe to make this a success, we needed good advertisement.
Subway, it's the way a sandwich should be.
People from far and wide needed to know us, and more importantly, reach us. And that's exactly what we did. By the time we opened our third branch, we were lucky enough to get our hands on a prime location. And with this, we were finally on the right path. And here's the proof. On the first day, Peter and I sold 312 sandwiches. With our prices ranging between 49 to 69 cents, we made quite a profit with it too. Within no time, the business was bringing in enough money to both run successfully and pay for my tuition as planned. As time passed, we decided to expand. I even enlisted family members to help us out. My mother was actually a huge asset moving forward. Not only did she host weekly meetings to help straighten out many ongoing issues, but also help secure the future of the company. She even became the company officer and director years later. My sister, Suzanne Greco, wasn't far behind. She became the vice president in charge of operations and research and development. A few years down the line, the company was bringing in high margins of profit, and I was made a wealthy man. I bought houses in Milford, Connecticut, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But that wasn't the only bit of good luck in my life. In 1966, I got married to a lovely and supportive woman named Elizabeth. We soon had a son named Jonathan. My wife even lent a hand in the business and started working at the Subway corporate headquarters. Subway's franchise stores were opening at a rapid rate, taking over every other chain, all thanks to one reason. Investing in a Subway franchise license was way cheaper compared to something like a McDonald's. You see, a Subway franchise would cost somewhere between $116,000 to $263,000, as compared to the $2.2 million to open a single McDonald's franchise. And so, by the late 1970s, we opened over 100 stores. What started out as a means to pay my college fees turned out into a full-fledged business and franchise chain, growing at an explosive rate. Over time, we reached the 1,000 store mark in 1987 and 1,100 units in 1993 alone. Peter and I partnered once again to create franchise brands to help other entrepreneurs replicate our success in the franchise industry. In the early 2000s, Jared Fogle, a customer, claimed to have lost 245 pounds on his Subway diet. This began to turn our company's brand positioning into a healthier food alternative. This started to blow up, and I saw an opportunity. We brought in Jared and started marketing Subway in this new green light. The advertisement worked wonders. People around the world were choosing Subway over other chains. And so, Jared went on to make multiple more advertisements for our company.
Now that's how chicken should be. Subway, eat fresh.
At one point, he was seen as the face of Subway.
I have a feeling that in a few years, people are going to be doing what they always do when the economy tanks.
In 2008, during the Great Recession, fast food chains started seeing a decline in sales, but I saw a way out. I used the situation to our advantage and came up with a smart advertising campaign which boosted our sales even in those difficult times. I analyzed the market and came up with an idea that I believed would help. The 5-inch sub priced at just $5. The concept was heavily advertised, and as other fast food chains started to shut down, Subway made sales of $3.8 billion just because of the 5-inch sub alone. My goal of making Subway a healthy fast food option was successful, to say the least. It won praise from the American Heart Association for its low-calorie, low-sodium meals in 2012 and was awarded its Heart Check certification. Even former First Lady Michelle Obama chimed in praising Subway for working to get kids excited about eating their vegetables. While I was a bit finicky about modifying the Subway menu to suit entered new markets, it did evolve locally. I soon introduced kosher locations, starting with Cleveland, and developed vegan restaurants that didn't serve beef or pork in countries like India. As with many successful founders in franchising, I, while not particularly active in the International Franchise Association, was always an accessible mentor. I used to take out time to meet new franchisors and even spent hours providing advice on becoming the next Subway. On July 15, 2013, I was diagnosed and being treated for leukemia. As I received treatments, I didn't give up on the brand. I still oversaw everything as chief executive. Times were difficult. It was getting harder to balance time with the family, treatment, and Subway. In 2005, more bad news followed. Jared Fogle was accused and convicted of child exploitation and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. This had the very real potential to hurt our image in the eyes of the public. But thankfully, Subway lived to see another day. Unfortunately, my story ends here. Before I died, I appointed my sister Suzanne Greco to take over the leadership of Subway as its president. When I started out the company, I had only $1,000 in hand, and we struggled to keep the little store afloat. But against all odds, we made it. And today, Subway is one of the largest franchise chains in the world, with close to 45,000 locations in 112 countries. My name is Fred DeLuca, and I am the founder of Subway. If you guys liked that video, please hit the like button. It does wonders for the YouTube algorithm. Just the research and the editing alone of these type of videos takes us close to 18 hours. So we would really appreciate it if you could check out our Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can support our work. We produce over like 12 videos per month, so that's literally 8 cents per video. Thanks so much, guys. Peace out.